If I think of 25, for me it stands for a moment of strategic refinement. We have looked back at what we achieved in the last 5-year phase. We have looked at the lessons learned from our external evaluation and from our own experience. I think we have drafted a very concrete and new plan for the next 5 years. And all of that while being still fully operational. So it was a heavy lift this year, but very interesting and very decisive. We tried to achieve very concrete changes on the ground through our 6 challenges of conflicts between nature and people, which we try to solve. And in these landscapes where we have established what we call real-world lab, living labs, we work mostly on very concrete solutions in innovations. That can be, for example, restoration activities in Kenya, in Peru, but also in Switzerland by revising and restoring raised bogs. But we also build nature-positive businesses. For example, a silk industry in Madagascar near to Maswa National Park, or ecotourism and Amazon nut value chains in Peru. We have worked with indigenous communities to learn from them how to manage nature and people and apply that to the management of buffer zones. So a little bit less visible actions, but very important part of the change. And finally, all this should be anchored in science. And I think we have now established baselines and systemic understandings of the context in which we work, and we are ready to monitor and evaluate what happens. Science is there to understand who are the actors who can make a change. So we try to find who are the powerful actors, what are their networks, what are the conflicts and their perceptions of each other, and this helps us to build new alliances for change. We are often overwhelmed with the challenges that we see, and somehow we hope that one actor will come with this magic silver bullet solution. You know, a new business will develop, or a new technology. Or if this doesn't work, then ultimately somebody, a strong policymaker, will come and set clear rules to solve us. But we are seeing this is not happening. We are not having any magic solutions to these big problems, and the rules on which we rely often are even being weakened from the very global level to very local level. So what we need to do is to identify actors from business, from public sector, from science, from practitioners who collaborate, work together, and together can change the power dynamics so that change is possible. I could mention an example again in Kenya, where we have worked on restorations, and if you look at it, restoration has been impressive. We have been building those what we call semicircular bunds that collect water and make vegetation grow, and together with local people we have installed a few thousand in the beginning and have achieved over 170,000 of these bunds in the meantime. But the true magic actually happened when the Wyss Academy, as an honest broker, brought together women and youth groups with an NGO who has the technical knowledge, with business people who think about the economic benefit of this activity, and science observing and guiding this. That's when the true magic happened, working together. And what is truly impressive to me, that we see that these youth and women's group, in a few months, they have invested more than 90 women's years of work, which for me is a sign of hope, confidence, but real true dedication to make change happen. When refining our strategy for the next 5 years, we realized that our vision is still very valid. We see that the relationship of people and nature should be mutually beneficial and just, and we want to continue working on that vision. However, we thought that we can perhaps make our goals a little bit more clear and simple, namely to show systemic changes in the concrete landscapes around the world, then to think how can we grow and replicate and scale those changes to larger regions. That's important. And thirdly, how can we sustain our work on that beyond 2030 and secure the Wyss Academy for the future. So these are our 3 goals on which we work. Standing at this crossroads, or looking back at 25, I think we came out of a burdened year, burdened by the normal operations that we had, and on top of that, all those refinements that we had to fulfill. But I think we have reached the end of this tunnel. We came out of the tunnel, and I'm very proud of the team, what was possible and what we achieved. And I really look forward to now getting back to work very concretely on our new 5-year phase.